Episode 6, Immigration Stats Us podcast. I'm so excited for our guest today. Her name is Mana Haghighi, all the way from Anzani, Iran. Tune in. This is going to be awesome. Switch it up now. All right. Welcome. This is the Immigration Status Podcast, episode 6, number 6, which is the final episode of the season. I'm Myron Turner, and I have yet another interesting guest with us today, and her name is Mana. How you doing, Mana?
Hi. Good.
Good.
Yeah.
How was the day? Nice?
Yeah, just working till 3:30.
Yeah?
Got tired. I'm back here. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, look, before we get too deep into the conversation, I want to give a special shout out to our sponsors, Ministries of Ethnic Communities, Uranga, also Campfire Studios, and I'm missing one. I know I'm missing one. Navigators Group as well. So we're going to get straight into it. So look, like as we spoke about before these cameras start rolling, we just want to talk about your journey and pretty much how you ended up here in New Zealand and why you chose New Zealand, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of the above. Whatever you feel comfortable sharing. I guess we can just dive right into it and ask you, where exactly on the earth are you from?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm from Iran.
Mm-hmm.
They pronounce it Iran here, but it's Iran.
We also pronounce it Iran in America sometimes too.
Okay.
It's a mixed bag of pronunciation. No one really knows how to say it, but I'm pretty sure you can teach us.
Yeah, some people they try to correct me, Iran.
People try to correct you.
Just to start conversation, it's not Iran. So I think it's Iran.
People try to correct you on how to pronounce your own country.
Oh, just kidding. Just maybe they're just trying to repeat it if I'm right, if they heard it right. So,
Iran,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm from Iran. I'm from north of Iran.
Mm-hmm.
Anzali is my city. They usually ask me what happened that you came to New Zealand, but for some New Zealanders, it's a little bit disappointing when I answer that it was accidentally. It wasn't like I had heard this or this to choose it. Just when I finished my bachelor degree, I just, to be honest, it wasn't at first my kind of feeling like I want to go overseas. It was mainly my father encouraged me because he believed like you have to go and try other countries. And I was a little bit a spoiled child that I hadn't, I was just at university, coming back home, catching up with friends. So I wasn't actually in the, what they call it, I wasn't working or being involved in the real life. My parents were thinking like it's getting a little bit difficult living in Iran. So they were just saying that it's better if you just go somewhere, try some other countries and live there because of some problems in Iran.
Can we talk about that? What is it like in Iran? What is it? What's the... well, at least where you grew up.
I think everyone has heard it slightly, but the regime that we have in Iran, there are lots of people are disagree with that. Some people probably didn't like it, but I feel like majority of people are not happy with what is going on there. So a little bit like lots of things are not our choice; it's mandatory, like a woman's right, especially.
So women don't have rights.
For instance, it's very basic kind of things like to choose what you want to wear. And this is mandatory that we have to wear hijab. And if we don't have the kind of hijab that they want, we can get arrested.
Hijab, is that the
covering hair?
Okay.
And I was watching some of your videos. Some people are religious; they want to do it, they are not allowed, and some people they don't want, and they are forced to do it. So it's really stupid to not having freedom of choosing what you want or living based on what you believe. So it makes people obviously frustrated and heaps of problems. So. Yeah, lots of things because of Islamic kind of regime, and governments wants everything based on some kind of rules that is based on religious kind of things. Yeah. So and other things like economy got a little bit, not a little bit, dramatically down. So finding job or affording the prices, like living prices, like rent or buying house or car or this kind of thing was really difficult. These kind of things made actually most of the people, when they want, before starting the serious step of the life, they if they had this opportunity of supporting their family or this kind of thing. So we had a big wave of immigrants going other countries. So yeah, it was actually in that period of time I was feeling like actually my parents, they just encouraged me to have a look to the other countries. So when I wanted to go, one of the things was applying for some universities because I really wanted to go further in my academic studies. So I just applied.
Yeah, what is your dreams? Like, what were your aspirations? What were you after?
Again, to be honest, in that period of time, I wasn't serious about anything.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Yeah,
How old were you at this period?
I was like, when I finished, I wasn't that young. When I finished my university, it was like 24 years old. So,
but I wasn't serious about my life until I was 28. So I totally understand.
Yeah, actually, some people, it takes a little bit longer to find themselves. So I was like that. So
I totally get it. What did you study?
Design, industrial design.
Okay.
Then I was a little bit curious to go into art and design, this kind of things, and see how in other countries actually people are, especially I think product design or industrial design or this kind of things. In Iran, they are improving it in universities, but I was feeling like there are some other countries that they have a actually bigger history of design and this kind of thing. So I was thinking about. I applied for some universities like in Germany, Australia, New Zealand. New Zealand was one of the options because my sister and her family, they were, my sister and her husband, actually, they were graduated in IT, and IT was one of the majors that in New Zealand they wanted. It was short of a skill or something like that. They were it was easy to get a work visa, so they had applied already for a work visa. So I was thinking like, however, I was that kind of person to say that, no, I want to be independent. I want to have my own journey. I don't want to stick to someone that helped me. So at first I was saying, wherever you are going, I'm going somewhere else. But then I said that, okay, between some options, I have New Zealand as well. So I got university acceptance from all these countries, like Germany, Australia, and New Zealand. But then when I investigated a little bit deeper and more serious to see like what I want to do, I want to stay. I'm not a person of jumping from. And it's not that easy that before going to overseas, you think like, if I don't like it, I go there. If I don't like, but it's not that easy to change where you are living, or it takes time to get settled, and then it's difficult. And yeah, everyone knows, I think, this kind of thing. So I got a little bit more serious. For Germany, I just started to learn German language, and then I found it very difficult. It's very attractive.
Speak any German now?
8 years ago,
impressed.
before
Come on,
coming
surely
here.
You remember one phrase. Come on, we got to do it.
No.
Come on, I would be super impressed if you remember anything from that time period.
I could. The last thing that I could remember, I still have some. I have my pamphlets because I'm really interested to learn more. I'm looking for a free time to get back to. The last thing that I could remember was counting the numbers, and yeah, but. Leave it for now. My pronunciation, I'm not
that
sure.
as well. That's also acceptable. Because the fact is, like, anytime someone from one country goes somewhere else and takes any effort to learn the language of that place, it's really, really, really hard, and it's really cool if they can get it done. I knew a guy from Chicago who came over here and learned Maori. Like he actually speaks, he's fluent in Maori.
Wow.
Like, yeah, right? Exactly. Like, wow.
But even now, I'm in a period of time that even I get confused in Persian language when I'm talking with my family, and then in English I get confused in some words. So let me not try to remember.
All right.
Otherwise, I just call my family and I say something that's like, what?
So your primary language is
Persian. My first language, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after my classes for German language, I was like, wow, it doesn't take that short period of time that I was thinking about. Like in 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, I'm gonna get my language certificate. So I'm gonna just leave it. You know already about English a little bit. So, and another thing was the university that I got acceptance. It was like we had to pass the exam. So short story, I didn't go, and then between Australia and New Zealand, between the expenses, I was thinking like I am more able to afford the prices in New Zealand. So I came in New Zealand myself, not with my sister, but and I remember that I was my mother gave. I hadn't any friend or family, anyone here, and my mother just could find a phone number from an old friend of her. And when she gave it to me, I said, I don't need it. I don't need anyone. I can do it myself. But I remember when I came in New Zealand the first day, I was really shocked. Like, oh my gosh, I really don't know anyone to ask any question. And I lost my cell phone in airplane. So I just trying to find that phone number, and I called that person, please come and help me. So, yeah.
So what was the timeline? Yeah. So what was the year that you actually landed here?
February 2015. I came here. Yeah.
Okay, so you would have, which is only 1 year after I got here, by the way.
Oh,
you would have applied for a student visa? I mean, a work visa?
Yes, it was a student visa.
A student visa.
Yeah.
Okay. And the whole process at the time, it was pretty seamless with Immigration New Zealand. There was no like strange bumps in the road, or was it pretty difficult? Or
it might be interesting to just sometimes because I know some Kiwi people here, they don't know how it works, and they don't know what kind of steps we've been through to get
here. The audience.
Yeah, and sometimes when I tell them, they get surprised. Like, for instance, when we want to apply for a proper kind of a student visa or work visa, we first thing is IELTS exam. IELTS exam is an international English exam that I think it's from Cambridge or Oxford. One of these universities are in charge of this. And we have to pass, we have to get a certain point, a score, like, and we have different categories like listening, speaking, writing, and reading. And we have to get to a certain kind, at minimum kind of a score.
Is this from Immigration New Zealand is giving you
this?
Yes. And so they're testing your competency of how well you can understand and interpret English.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And that is, I would say, a tough language.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I wanted to, I think it's good local people knows about it is just, for instance, when we are applying for a citizenship or when we decide to stay here, the job or the academic major that we have has to be in the list of the shortage of skills.
That's right, yeah.
Or a future growth means like in future, and I really like it because New Zealand, I could just clearly see how they've investigated what the country needs. Or
always looking for skilled migrants. Always.
Yeah. So it's always like, and it's very it was very impressive for me to see how they've categorized and how they know what they need or what they want to improve. So, and then it gives us certain kind of scores to be eligible to get the visa, and we have to get obviously to the minimum. So how we apply is just, it's been completely investigated when we get eligible or when we get a visa. So like academic, a student visa or work visa.
So the student visa would then get transferred into a skilled migrant visa? Is that how it works?
For me, it was like I just got graduated and then I applied for work visa.
Work visa, oh yeah.
Again, for a work visa, they investigate again, this kind of background we needed in New Zealand or not.
Yeah.
And then how it becomes like a residency or citizenship again is, however, work visa to residency is a little bit, again,
the work
process of investigation.
Yes.
And I really like, however, for immigrants, it's difficult, a stressful kind of situation because we've spent time, we spent money, we've been far from the family and friends, and all these kind of things. We want to see if we can get fit to the system, get accepted or not. But in other side, I really liked how New Zealand is just really considering it. Like, I feel like the filters that they've set is good. However, it's tough a little bit and it's getting more difficult. But I'm just talking about my experience, that period of time. I don't know what happened now.
Yeah.
Is it more difficult or fair or not? But in that period, it was very tough for me, but stressful, difficult. But then I was feeling like it worth it to pass all these filters. Because when I was passing my IELTS exam, I was thinking, oh gosh, why I have to get to this score? Just a little bit less. What is the problem? I will learn it there. Or I will find friends, I will talk. But when I was here, I saw that how knowing this language is important even for me, because I was a little bit down in my first year here because of making connections, friends. I came from a country with 80 million people and all my families to a country with 5 to 6 million with no friends and family. And just imagine if I couldn't talk properly, how it could be more tough for me, you know? This is why then I said that how you were angry, like why I have to get to this score. But I was thinking it's good for me as well. If I was here without skills of talking, or because even in IELTS exam, there are lots of things in communication that they want to see from us. So I was feeling like, well, it was actually an important point to know the language.
It was mainly because Kiwis are not really speaking English. I know they think that they are. When I came here, I realized that, you know, they had their own way of talking.
Yeah, exactly. They have lots of local kind of what they call terms and things.
I don't know I don't know what it's called.
And I would say
I've been here for a while.
I would say the accent was very shocking for me.
Don't even get me started on this accent. Don't get me started. Mate.
Yeah, I remember like in my first days, I was like, what? They were just talking. I had passed IELTS exam and I was actually based on immigration's consideration that you have to be in this level. I was in that level, but I really was struggling to understand that. And just imagine in my first job, I had to answer the phone calls. And when someone
where was that? What job was that?
I was actually kitchen designer at Mitre 10.
Mitre 10?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And it was hectic, full of people and lots of calls. And they were talking very quickly. And for instance, I remember one of the things I was like, what? Was very short, common things to say. Like they were saying, how's it going? How's it going?
How's it going?
How's it going? What was that?
How the hell are you? How's it going? Like, I didn't understand. I'm from an English-speaking country, and apparently I'm still not speaking the correct English that New Zealanders accepted. You know, so I'm constantly having to twist my words and say things a certain way. It's actually pretty funny,
it's soft.
It's funny, but like when you're in the situation, it's not funny because it's like you can't even get past, you know, the sentence. I just want us to know what color this muffin is. You know, we're not talking about anything complex. We're just talking about a muffin.
And obviously some terms like for instance, it might be a funny story, like when someone says sweet ass, and
sweet ass.
If you think like if it's sweet something else, right? I said, what?
I thought they were saying ass too when I got here. Like I thought that was like, why are you talking about my ass? Like, we're not really having that type of relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
and you going straight in talking about sweet ass.
my God.
The first time I heard it, it was at Burger King from that worker after I ordered my food. And he's just like, oh, yep, sweet ass. I'm like,
What?
you can't even see me. How do you know what I look like? What's back there? But okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, moving on. I didn't.
People are that open-minded here to
Yeah,
just be very.
When someone explained it to me, they're like, "Oh, it's AS, not ASS."
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Got it. Moving on.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was good. No, it was
Yeah,
good. It's But anyway, okay, we digress. Let's try to wheel it in. Okay, so.
Yeah.
2000. Okay, so coming from Iran is obviously a culture where the government and the religious atmosphere is oppressive to women. Overall, you still had your goals and aspirations. You still wanted to achieve something. You wanted to do industrial design. I'm assuming that's more on the SolidWorks and AutoCAD type stuff. I bet you're kind of impressed that I knew that. I know stuff too. No,
Great.
yeah, so and that's actually a really, really tough. So at work, I do recruitment. I'm the engineering guy at work. That's how I know about it. Because actually I'm always looking for those type of people as well. It's very hard to find them, especially now, especially when they close the borders. Because it's like, if you want someone to do CAD work, you might as well just take, just the junior guy and just train them up on the systems, because you just forget about it. There's no one who knows how to do any of those design, those really good ones. Like I was looking for an architect in Christchurch one time, and I only had 2 applicants. And both of those people were already in full-time jobs. It's just really hard finding people who actually know how to...
So let me know if you want someone, okay?
100%.
I'll be in touch.
100%. Well, yeah, stay connected.
And job-wise, yeah, I was thinking like maybe I can just, even I was thinking like I told you like I had seen my major between the shortage of skill or future growth, and then I was feeling like, oh gosh, easy to find a job here, but it took a long time for me to find a job.
But that's for another reason as well that we probably don't have time to get into. But that's the reason why it took so long. But that's another conversation. So tell me about like a really, really low point. So we can do high points and low points from when so we already talked about your immigration journey, how, it was fairly easy process, considering that you were already, you're a student, you know what you wanted to do, you already knew the industry you're in.
Still, I would say difficult.
Difficult. It was. So you were graded difficult overall, the immigration process for you.
It was. I'm not
or
saying
lengthy. It was lengthy, maybe. How long did it
both,
take?
actually.
Difficult and lengthy. Okay.
I don't know. It's people's different situation, but
no, we just want to know about yours this time. Yeah.
Took long time, and but difficult. I mean, like these filters. Obviously, it's been designed for a good fit in the country, but obviously it's not easy to pass all these kind of categories. But generally, I mean, I'm not just specifically saying that this one was bad or this one, but generally they had their filters and we had to pass those filters. Yeah.
So what was like a really low point for you? Like after you've already settled in, like did you maybe long to be around other Iranians, or you're okay with it? Like what was a really low point for you being here?
There were heaps of things that, especially in my first year, I was very shocked, and maybe we can say, in our generation, we all are exposed to Hollywood movies, lots of movies. We feel like we know all the countries, we know English, we know. And so, I was exposed to all these cultures in movies and this kind of, I know everything. But it's really different when you come and live there. For me as a designer and artist, even I just found it like visually you get shocked a little bit. For instance, especially maybe some Western countries are similar, but for me from Eastern country like Iran with women in hijab, carpets, Persian carpets, I don't know, like different climates. Like you come in a country like it's full of beach, lots of blonde ladies, like no hijab, tattoos, lots more people have more pets, and here, then I remember that I was visually like a little bit like I had my date, then I was going back home and watch an Iranian movie to see all these kind of things again. I was feeling like visually I was just thirsty about getting back to all those pictures. I was feeling like I want to see a movie with a red carpet. I want to see someone with a scarf. Then I was just a little bit. Yeah, I was watching more movies, and just even my ears wanted to hear Persian conversation. And I remember in my first year, I was a little bit like that. Before coming here, I was telling my family that I don't need anyone here. I don't need any contact details of any friends or family. I want to be independent. But I remember that a guy in the airport helped me. He was Iranian, but grew up in New Zealand with English. He was talking Persian with English accent. And he was very helpful. And still I'm in touch with their family. They were very supportive and helpful. I remember that I was running to he told me like, our home is your home. Our doors are always open. Whenever you feel you miss your family or need help, come to our home. My mother is always there. They're a very nice and kind family. And I, as a girl, like, no, I don't need anyone. I was just running to their home and just catching up with them because I really missed that Iranian kind of gathering. But yeah, I mean, like, before coming, something which is in our mind, it's not exactly what you will get faced with, in the in your destination. But gradually, actually, I remember after 5 years in New Zealand, I went back to Iran. Then when I was coming back to New Zealand in the airport, I had the same feeling about New Zealanders. When I saw some guys with short and jandal in a queue, I said, "Oh, New Zealand! I like to go back New Zealand." I was feeling, or barefoot people in the queue in the airport. I thought they are going to New Zealand.
Definitely going to New Zealand.
Then I saw that I'm getting a little bit emotional about even New Zealanders as well. So yeah, it's a really interesting process.
So you've allowed New Zealand to integrate into your heart, like you've kind of become.
Gradually, I'm getting really emotional when I hear a Kiwi accent, or when I see some New Zealanders with some style of their tattoos or Maori tattoos or barefoot people or jandals. At first I was like, why did they walk barefoot? Is it comfortable? It's not hard, or it's not? And then I was posting in my Instagram, when you come in New Zealand and I saw someone barefoot, don't be emotional and give a shoe, or don't get emotional. This is what they like. This is what they like. No. And they told me they all reply, really? Oh, it's interesting. So, yeah.
I went through the same thing. Like that period of being homesick, it hits you really hard. Because when I got here the first time to settle, I was the same way. Like, oh, yep, going to be independent. I'm all good. My family would call and check on me. I'm like, no, I'm good. And then as time went on, and then things got, I couldn't get the job as quickly as I thought. And I literally, almost have a mirror story. I went through the same thing. Couldn't get the job as quickly as I wanted the job. Couldn't do this, couldn't do that, couldn't talk to a certain amount of people. And I just started to feel really lonely. So I guess the same thing, you basically saying that, like, you went through a time where you just felt really, really lonely in the beginning. So that would be a low point. So let's talk about a high point. At what point, you talk about the barefoot people, but at what point do you really think, you kind of allowed New Zealand to woo you? When did you actually fall in love with New Zealand?
Generally, I would say, however, when I talk with a friend about my experiences, I had some tough days and some experiences that I don't want to other people to have it, and I just want to tell them, don't do it when you're going overseas. But generally, one thing that I would say, like, I found New Zealanders very supportive and helpful. They're very honest. And then, however, like everywhere else, there are some people that they may just hurt you. But generally, I just found them very kind people. They don't leave you when they see someone needs help, this is and then generally about the nature, beautiful scenery when you just go to these spots. And unfortunately, the freedom, I would say it's really a big gift. Maybe the people who are living here, they can't feel it. They don't have the experience of living someone who doesn't give them the freedom. I really like it when I see someone can have hijab, someone cannot have it, someone can be dress up in their culture, someone not. Someone is going to the church, other people is going to the bar, someone is going to the mosque, and that's awesome. That's really awesome.
That's pretty powerful. So you that's actually coming from your perspective. You coming from a different culture where things were the complete opposite, and you realize that religious freedom is there and the freedom to express yourself.
Nothing is worse than just forcing you or just want you to live in a certain beliefs that you are not into that. You know what I mean? Nothing is, it's really awful. Like, for instance, even you have to be careful about everything. Even when you are in friend gatherings, you have to be careful if someone is not in that circle that is very extremist about the religion or politic, or not from the governments, or when you apply for a job, it's always a stress of you have to be careful that you are talking according to the government's rules and Islam's rules. If you are not talking, for instance, nail polish. Can you believe that they didn't let me to go inside the university because I had the nail polish? And, they just told me you have to remove it, then you go inside. And I had my classes, I had my project, I was ready, and my mind was just wanted to get a project done. My knowledge was a nail polish, don't go. Or we have to dress up and based on some Islamic rules, or if your, for instance, a scarf is a little bit back, or your dress is a little bit shorter than what they want, then you are not allowed to go inside,
Really?
Or they don't give you a job if you go for an interview and they see your how your dress up is not according to. It's awful, isn't it?
Yes.
So, yeah. Then you come here and you see that regardless of these kind of things, they just talk to you.
Yeah.
They just look at the CV portfolio.
Yeah.
And however, I had some experiences of a little bit sexist attitude sometimes.
Come on, bring it out. Come on. It's the place for those type of stories.
I was just a little bit like, because I was very happy as a person from that restriction. I came here, so that, okay, open-minded, free country. But I was surprised, like, for instance, and a little bit, sometimes I think when I talk with friends, is it like they think like we are immigrants and we don't know rules, that they talk about, they talk like that? Are they talking like that with the local people as well? Like, for instance, I had some interviews, like they ask me if you are married or not, if you are in relationship or not, are you single? They don't have to ask something like that. Or I was employed and then my manager asked me, we are immigrants, we need a work visa, we need to stay in our work visa. It's a little bit more difficult for us to find a job or change a job. And based on some immigration rules, we have to finish 1 year or 2 years in a company. Otherwise, it's going to be, again, paperwork or makes it longer to process. And then if in some companies you see some behavior which is sexist or not legal, then I was a person like I couldn't stay quiet. I just raised it, but maybe it's good to just talk about it here and ask other people to don't worry about these kind of things.
Was it something specific that happened that was like a sexist thing?
Yeah, for instance, however, one thing was in lots of interviews, they were asking me, then I just heard from some my Kiwi friends that they are not allowed to ask you this kind of things in interview. And then I was actually employed in a company. Then one of my managers actually, he started to be a little bit talking very like that, exactly like. I remember that I was with a Kiwi colleague, a girl in my age group.
Yeah.
She saw a little bit creepy behavior, and it was easy for her to resign and go. And I wish she could just raise it,
Yeah.
and talk about it, to say that I'm not comfortable with this kind of.
Was he demeaning women, or he was basically saying women are less than, making you feel like you weren't?
It was equal. We had lots of women and men in our.
But this guy was being inappropriate.
This one was actually a department manager, zone manager or something.
Okay.
And then he was like, however, they were actually from an immigrant background as well. And it was surprising for me. Like, I was feeling like they feel more comfortable to be like this with us than Kiwi girls, because I could see it in other jobs as well. When they want to do something illegal, they are more scared or worried of the local people or Kiwi girls rather than immigrants,
So they're assuming incompetence.
Or maybe I was thinking that if he's thinking like I'm from a country that women's rights are not in a standard level, and he thinks that I'm not aware of that. No, I'm from a country that women's rights are ignored, but we all are fighting against that in Iran, and we could change lots of things. And it doesn't mean that if I see something against my rights, I will be quiet here as well. Fortunately, I want to say to even tell the other girls or women here if they had a problem like this. Fortunately, New Zealand's system is supportive enough to help us. They are not ignoring it. For instance, there are heaps of good organizations that it's easy to Google it, and you see for all these problems, there is an organization to give consultation and take a serious action. And I think it's our responsibility to raise these kind of things if we want to keep New Zealand peaceful and nice as it is. If we don't want that stupid situation that we were struggling in other countries here, so we have to see ourselves responsible. We have to raise all these kind of things. We don't have to be shy or quiet or scared of that, or just because of the visa situation may get longer or something, we stay quiet.
Yeah.
So what I did was in that certain point, actually, I just Googled it, and I saw it was written in one of the websites. I forgot the name of it. But it was written first it's a notice that you give to the people, because it wasn't just asking about my relationship, because he went further and he said something very creepy in front of all people, very sexist. And it was a kidding, very dirty kidding.
So it was sexual in nature.
Yeah. It was completely sexual. And then actually I went home, and I thought at that moment, usually in this kind of situation, I know everyone gets shocked and quiet, like what? However, I get angry as well. I try to not punch in their face.
I mean, I'm getting angry listening to it, and I wasn't even there.
Yeah. Then I was I went home and I Googled it. Fortunately, there was a very good, clear website about this kind of situations. And it was written that first we have to give a notice or talk about it if we see that it's still ignored or not sorted. So there are we can report it to them, and they can send the people to investigate it. So what I did was, in the next day, I went and I talked with my main manager. And thank God that he was very helpful and very supportive. He got very impressed, and very sorry about what happened.
Yeah.
He said that my family is working here as well. It's important for me to keep the working environment very happy for everyone, very respectful. Fortunately, I raised it with my main manager and HR. They've been very helpful and supportive, and they told me, they informed me about how they want to deal with the situation. They told me, you just don't worry. If we have to raise it and talk to him, and you don't worry about it. Nothing happened for you. And yeah, short story, they just raised it to him. And I saw in some days that main manager was very shocked and angry, and he went and he said that I will go to the other women in this company and I talk with all of them if they've been like this. And I told him, like, the other girl who was working here, she was New Zealander, she resigned quickly when she saw that his behavior is not very normal.
So this was more or less sexual harassment in the workplace.
Probably, yeah.
And I wasn't there, but I would just take a stab in the dark and say that he would have maybe said what he said and tried to hide it within a little bit of banter and try to, kind of like color it up to make sure,
exactly. It was like,
and I've seen this often as well.
Some people, they, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I thought about heaps of different scenarios. I thought that maybe it's the style of their family, because I saw that one of the girls who is from his nationality is okay with this kind of things. But I would say she is not aware of what is right, what is not right, And I don't know, they had family kind of connection. By the way, I can't make a sense of that. I can't just, I just raised it with lots of people, and they were just very shocked, like how he could say that in front of. But I strongly, because even when I just talk about this memory with other friends, I just noticed that some of them, they had this kind of uncomfortable kind of situation.
And didn't feel comfortable speaking
but
up.
They didn't talk because they were worried about if it makes I don't know, they were very stressed about having job or losing their job, to have their work visa or just get in trouble to find another job. And I feel like maybe after COVID and lockdown, maybe it's more difficult to find a job, by the way, I think I believe we have to raise it, otherwise these kind of people, they get more encouraged to repeat it. Unfortunately, New Zealand's system is supportive enough to take an action and help us. And there are heaps of free consultation about this kind of situations on the phone that they just kindly spend enough time to explain, like, what is the best thing to do.
Wow, man. Thank you for sharing that. I know that I can still see that it's still emotionally affecting you today.
But as far as sharing it with people, I'm just telling, like, I just want the other girls who are immigrants, who are stressed about their job or these kind of things, to just use this experience, like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Fine.
Yeah.
You just don't have to let these people to keep doing these stupid things. And another thing, maybe I have a similar thing, was like, for instance, COVID situation and lockdown. There are lots of things, like, for instance, about the subsidies the companies, they get, the payment for the staff, or these kind of things. Sometimes it gets very difficult and stressful, and we get confused, like, how much I'm gonna get, am I getting restructured or not? I had this experience, might be good to share it as well. Like, I would say, like, yes, I've seen it, and I feel like it's kind of unfortunately true. The people who employed, mostly, not everyone, obviously, mostly when they employ an immigrant, and they feel like, I have someone who is actually less aware of the rules and the laws, or they, when someone wants to do a little bit wrong things, they go for immigrants, to employ the immigrants.
It's true.
One thing is just, for instance, they start with just paying less kind of salary or wage or this kind of things. But we have to know about the junior or senior level, that what we are actually, the actual kind, we have to be aware of that, the level of the wage or salary that we have to get. Another thing is about, like, Yeah, for instance, my experience was like during the COVID, I had a good experience with one company that they were very clear about restructuring and paying us. They just emailed us clearly about what is going on. They've got subsidy. They want to pay us this, and we have to work online or the hours how it changed. But this another company that I work, he got the subsidy, this guy, and he paid me 50% without any notice or something. And then I was like, because he just called me and he told me like, oh, it's COVID, it's lockdown, we are working less. So if you work just 5 hours a day, it's fine. You don't need to just do lots of, because obviously we have less clients. So obviously we are like working less. But I had a good experience with that good company that they were clearly emailed everything, got our consent, we signed it, and then they started. But this guy told me like, you just work less, it's okay, it's COVID. And
I said, pocketed that money.
But fortunately, I just raised it, and I said that, okay, does it affect my payment? Are you paying 80% or 100% or what? And he said he paused and he got quiet, and then he said, oh, I don't know, we are applying for subsidy. And I said, okay, whenever you know, please email me and clearly write it down for me. If we are getting 100%, 80%, or you are doing redundancy or whatever, please email me, give me a notice before. And he told me like, okay, I'll do that. And so, okay, thank you. And then I was saying, okay, beautiful word, he will do it. And then another, when we got to the point to get money, I saw that he paid me 50%. And I said that I just couldn't find a reason why. And I said that, do you think I'm a stupid? Or do you think like I don't know any rules, or I don't know any... Again, fortunately, there are good kind of website, free consultation. I think it was Work and Income, New Zealand Work and Income, which organization. I just called them and clearly I explained the story, and they told me like, just write the exact name of the company in this website and see if they've got the subsidy from us or not. If they received it, they have to give you a notice, whatever they want to do, and then you have to give a consent. And I just, by this good consultation, I checked the business name, and I saw that they received 12K subsidy for a month or something like that. And then I saw like, I was the only actually employee that he had. We were just 3 people, I think. They were just the managers, and I was just working for them. By the way, actually, yeah, unfortunately, after a good consultation that I received from them, I just called him. I just told him like that I got a good consultation from this organization. What you've done is not legal. You've done an illegal thing. You know that I can make a complaint against what you've done, and you need to give a notice before, or I told you clearly, I asked you, you didn't, and you've received a subsidy, and you've paid me 50% without any notice. And he said, no, I told you, you can't work less. I said, I'm immigrant, but I'm not stupid about the rules here, okay? And then I told him, like, shorter story, the conversation got a little bit longer. And when I just told the organization name, and when I told them I can sue you, what you've done, wow. He said that if you need money, I can help you. You know? So I said that no, you don't. You are not helping me. This is what you are supposed to do. You're have to do this. Yeah. And then he said that okay, I do. And just hearing the name of the organization who helped me, gave me a consultation, and he just heard that I'm ready to go take action by the government, by the organization who support us. Then he just she knows about it. This is why I like all the immigrants to read the rules, read the updates, read the news, check this website, get the consultation. And what they call it, in all libraries, there is what they call it, citizen advisors, bureau.
The Citizens Advice Bureau.
bureau, yeah. And they are very great kind of advisors. They support you. You tell all the stories that your
Definitely.
concerns. They just refer you to the right person. So yeah, in that story, my employer, he paid me full.
Of course.
Yeah, and then fortunately, I didn't need to go through that, make a complaint. But
See, but listening to both of those stories, I think the key component is what you said in the beginning, how well you're able to orchestrate, your words and understand what's being said to you. Because I think a lot of the times with employment, especially with me being in recruitment, it's the employers who take advantage of people who don't understand or they can't communicate correctly. Those are the ones, like those people. I guess he just assumed you were one of those people who really don't read the laws, really don't watch the news, really don't know what's going on. So I'm going to pocket the rest of the money that I'm supposed to be paying her. And like this happens a lot. And I think this is so powerful that you're sharing this because it's a lot of people who are going through this right now who have so much money that they should have in their pocket, but their employer is, oh, this is a dumb immigrant. They don't know what's happening.
And you know what? In some countries, we are immigrants from all different countries. In some countries, unfortunately, there is lots of corruption in the system.
Yeah.
And we know that in some countries, when we claim against something which is not right, it's difficult to find it, difficult to claim it back, The system is not that healthy or good enough to make something quick. And but fortunately, and that made it more, the situation worse and worse.
Yeah.
Because lots of people, they see lots of unfair things, then they can't get anywhere,
Yeah.
But this is how we can even, I think we are responsible about this New Zealand, that
Absolutely.
if we want to keep everything clean and good like as it is, we are responsible to raise it and go to this organization who are there to support us. Don't be quiet. Don't get tired of your visa's kind of process.
Yeah.
If, for instance, if there is just 3 months to finish it and there is lots of stupid things in your working environment, don't think like if you talk about it, if you raise it, then your visa is gonna be.
No, I'm glad you bring it up. That's the number one reason why people put up with things. They don't want to jeopardize their visa application, and it's just really sad. I mean, because New Zealand is a great country, but obviously it has a couple of charlatans, in it who want to do things. Look, just to start to wrap up, I want to know about something that's like, it can be kind of funny or it can be like something that's just weird. Like, give me something that's your favorite Kiwiism thing that you just can't seem to wrap your head around, or just something that you really, really like about this nation.
You mean people?
Well, no, just something that's like how we talked about before, like just strictly Kiwi. Like on the other episode, there was a guy who talked about sausage sizzles. He just can't get his head wrapped around sausage sizzles. They can be something like that. Is anything you experience here that you just can't seem to wrap your head around, and it's just really strange to you?
It's strange.
It's okay if you don't have one, because you seem to have you've accepted the barefoot thing. If you've accepted that, you probably don't have anything else that you think.
I had lots of things actually. I was always talking even with my Kiwi friends and laughing, but at the moment, my mind goes blank. But yeah,
it can be anything at all. Like for me, I always talk about the door being open. Like in the summertime, that's still something that baffles me. Keeping your door wide open. Because where I'm from, you don't keep your door open no matter how hot it is. But it's one of the things that I saw, and that is strictly Kiwi, along with walking to countdown with your shoes off. Also really Kiwi. But it's just like, okay, you know what? Let me help you. Let me inspire you, because I have never talked about this.
Yeah.
Beans on toast. Okay, see, this here has like revolutionized the way I look at both of those items.
Oh, what is the other one? That black Esprit on the toast?
Marmite or Vegemite?
Vegemite.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. My first experience of tasting it was like, I could just run all the street and I was feeling like, how people can eat it. It's like a roasted
It tastes like
iron.
earwax.
It tastes like
earwax,
iron.
boiled earwax. That's
And
what it
I
tastes
see
like.
like people are very with a smile or splitting us.
Just putting it on,
And I
laying
get
it
like,
on,
don't do that.
laying it on thick on the toast like they're painting a wall.
Oh my gosh.
And then it's taking a big bite like,
the
why?
first, even smelling it makes me like, wow.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. You know,
I
I
don't
feel
know,
like
sorry, but I know it's very nutritious, it's very good, but the taste is very different with what the taste that we usually can get close to.
I can't get down with that. Okay, so if you were to give some final thoughts to people from other parts of the world, including Iran, who thinking that they want to come here and they want to, bring their family here to New Zealand to live, what would you say to those people?
The first thing came into my mind was
stay away from Vegemite.
Yeah. After that, the second thing is, I would say it's very quiet country. If you are a bubbly person that you have to jump around and talk a lot, and I said that just think that it's not that like even to my Iranian kind of family, because they are like come and talk and laugh and tell you like let's come for dinner or lunch. But here, I remember the first day that I came, I just didn't know the plugs are just 3 kind of things, because in Iran is 2. So I hadn't any charger for any of my devices. So like my thought, like in Iran, you just open the door and say hi and just talk with someone. I just opened the door and said, okay, I just ask someone who has a converter. It's a campus, in university, lots of US students.
Yeah.
I just opened the door and I went and I walked. I couldn't see anyone. And then I just passed one street and said, my gosh, where am I living? No one is here. And then I was shocked, and it happens in lots of areas. And we are in Auckland, which is a very busy kind of city. If even we go to other cities, you can feel it much more. But even in Auckland, in some areas, it's very quiet, and there is not lots of people around, and sometimes it's just a few people. So the first thing comes in my mind, I just give them this notice, like it's quiet. It's people
very quiet.
And people, however, they are very kind and supportive, but I feel like are reserved and a little bit not that much. For me, after 8 years, now I can find some people that can talk about something. But as a newcomer, that might be a little bit challenging to see, like it's quiet, and from especially busy countries like with 80 million people, even you come to 5 million people, there's no one around, So first thing I just give this notice and then another thing I just tell them about English language. I said that you need connection, you need to talk, you have to raise your voice and have your rights, you need to talk. And I said that it's important. So IELTS is difficult, but you pass it, please, because and I would tell people who love nature and a peaceful kind of country, who wants to be free, not in restriction of the countries who force people to believe it or believe this one or not this one, this kind of thing. I would tell them that New Zealand is a nice country.
It is. It's beautiful. They love being outside. Kiwi people love nature. It's like a nature trail every 5 minutes,
If they love camping, hiking.
Camping and love
just
hiking.
Come here and spend your holidays.
Honestly. But I would definitely add in, maybe watch some YouTube videos of Kiwi people talking. Because that actually could have prepared me a lot more. If we were to watch, because we were learning English when we were kids. But then when I got here, I had to learn it again. It's interesting. I had to learn English twice in my life. So I'm bilingual now.
Now I can talk on phone as well.
You can talk on the phone now.
That's totally different word. If a Kiwi talks on the phone, at least when they talk in front of you, you can see the body language.
You have to read their lips.
And you know what? My boyfriend is Kiwi, and I saw some of the body languages are different. Like when he wants to say yes, he say, so what does it mean in your country? It means no, right? When we want to say yes, we say or but he goes up like yes. So I thought, is it a giving body language?
You just got to learn it. You got to learn the nonverbal cues of Kiwis. I mean, you can put that in the Kiwiism box as well. Then there's a lot of nonverbal cues. But look, I obviously, you're a lovely lady. I can sit here all night and talk to you. I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing it.
Having me here and giving me this time to share my stories.
No, it's been
great.
Awesome. And thank you for empowering the ladies that you did. Definitely on a final note on that, like just on a serious note, if there's anyone out there that's, dealing with something like that, obviously, just speak up. It's just one of those things. I know it's hard to do, but when you don't speak up, you're letting people like that get away with it. It's just plain and simple. And today is you and tomorrow it'll be someone else. But, today we learned that it's important to speak up no matter what.
Sure thing.
So thank you so much.
Thank you
for your time.
Thank you for having me.
This is episode 6. I'm Myron Turner. Thank you so much to our sponsors once again, Ministries for Ethnic Communities, Oranga Navigators Group, and Campfire Studios for providing this wonderful facility. And we'll see you on season 2. This was the last episode of season 1. So we'll see you on season 2 of the Immigration Stats Us podcast. That was amazing. So much meat and substance in that conversation. And look, we actually touched on something that was pretty serious in sexual harassment. And it was a different interpretation of what immigrants are going through from the immigration process all the way on to what they're going through in their workplace. So I really appreciate Mana for going into her story involving sexual harassment. And if you know someone who's been through something like that, please don't be afraid to speak up, because without speaking up, you're allowing people like that to get away with it. And that's what this show is all about. It's about sharing the perspectives of outside cultures who now live inside this culture, like myself, immigrants who've chosen to migrate from another part of the world and come over here. So look, this was the end of season 1. I want to give a big thank you to everybody who's tuned in and supported us thus far. A lot more juicier content on the way in season 2, but thank you so much for Ministries for Ethnic Communities, Navigators Group. Thank you for Campfire Studios for this awesome space. And we will see all of you guys in season 2. Just keep a lookout for all of the new projects that we have on the way. Is some more extensions. I can't really get into it right now, but it will be all good. So thank you again to Mana, and thank you for all of you guys who are watching and listening all around the world. Thank you so much. I'm Myron Turner, and this is the Immigration Status Podcast.